The hounds are out for blood when it comes to James Gunn. Some obsessed internet detectives found over a decade ago comments that James Gunn made about Tim Burton's Batman movies. And now they want James canceled. Again. What's up everyone, Eric here, and in today's video, we're gonna look at a few of those comments made by James Gunn to find out why people want him gone, removed from the DC landscape, because he had the nerve to say something controversial about Tim Burton's Batman. Look, I'm a fan of the Tim Burton Batman movies, so I love those things, but let's look at some of the stuff that James said to decide whether he should be canceled or not. Okay, again, this stuff is from like 11 years ago, so I'm not saying that maybe he changed his mind or what was going on during this time, but he does not hold back. James Gunn, when he has an opinion, he says it, and here is what he said. This is one of the ones. We're gonna look at like 2 or 3 of them. He goes, "The Tim Burton Batman is poorly written. The soundtrack is the worst work of everyone involved, and it's absolutely one of the most boring films ever." Oh my God, James, like I totally disagree. That was the Prince soundtrack. That first Batman movie was the Prince soundtrack. I like the second one too. I mean, it had an iconic song on there with Seal, but that first soundtrack was amazing. It was one of the campiest, funniest things. And it was a perfect blend of like modern superhero stuff with like that classic, silly, over-the-top Batman stuff. I thought it was really good. I totally disagree about the soundtrack. Anyway, let's go on. Not only that, but the reveal of the Joker as the killer of Bruce Wayne's parents spits in the face of Batman's origin and is a nullification of the bottomless thirst for vengeance that necessarily drives Batman. I mean, that's his opinion. That's his opinion. There's some people, look, I know this might be controversial, but there are some people that do not like this era of Batman. They did not like these movies, like the Burton movies into the, you know, continuing succession of films they had. Like, they didn't like them. So it's okay not to like them. I'm not like jumping on him for that or whatever. And it was controversial, especially back then when it happened. It pretends not to be campy. I don't think so. I don't agree with that. I don't think Tim Burton ever shied away from campiness. I think the campiness was there, but it was like a darker campiness, but is completely so. Yes, I'm not going to disagree about that it is campy. And on top of everything, the dark creature of the night can't even move his fucking neck. I mean, you got him. I mean, yes, that was a really bad design, but I have to admit, I don't know how they would have achieved it in that era any other way, because they had like all the top people working on the costumes at that point. So I'm guessing there was probably a lot of prototypes and that was the best one that they could use. I didn't like it either. I mean, standing still in a silhouette, it looked really good, but yeah, we see now in modern times they're able to fix it, but back then they couldn't. So, I mean, and James Gunn probably knows that. He's like, give me a fucking break. It's ridiculous. Awful film. Burton's Planet of the Apes is genius in comparison. Okay. I mean, again, it's his opinion. I'm not sure why people are so upset about this. I mean, like, I disagree with them on some of it, but it's still his own opinion. All right, this is another one here that I thought we'd read through. It says he's at Sean, whoever Sean is. Sean, you know. Keaton did have a ridiculous voice. That said, I'd rather put up with a ridiculous voice than with horrible action sequences acting barely worthy of a Batman TV show. The Batman voice has been kind of bad for a long time. I think every actor tries to do a quote unquote Batman voice, and I don't think it ever really works for me, especially, I mean, looking at Nolan's movies, like that Batman voice wasn't good either. So there you have it. I have no idea how you can think that the Burton Batman movie has more similarities with Moore or Miller's Batman and Joker than Nolan's does. And listen, I have problems with both of Nolan's films because he made this tweet, not this tweet, wherever this was, Facebook, I think, maybe. I don't have no idea where this was from, but he made this comment before the third movie came out, I believe. I don't think either one of them is classic, and I don't even really think Batman Begins is good. I've heard people say that they think Batman Begins is the best one. I don't agree with that. But they're far superior to the first Batman. See, none of that your defense is getting the fact that despite being the first cinematic dark take on Batman, so what? Stallone's Judge Dredd was the first dark take on Judge Dredd. The movie is awful. So from what I gather here is that Tim Gunn just really didn't like that movie. Like, he doesn't have a lot of positives to say about it. And considering the, again, investigation to find this, I would love to know what spurred all of this. Was this just James Gunn, like, kind of shooting off about it, or was this him, like, was he asked about it? I don't know where this actually came from. So I'm not sure the context of that in regard. We have one last thing here to read, and then I got a little bit more I want to talk about before we wrap this up. This is him talking about Jack Nicholson. It says, oh yeah, the Jack Nicholson as the Joker is Jack Nicholson in The Shining with shitty clown makeup. Fuck you, everyone involved with that travesty. Like, he has a very strong opinion about this. Okay, very, very, very strong opinion. He does not like that era of Batman for whatever reason. And he is totally allowed to feel that way about it. I never try to change anyone's mind or anything in regards to that, but he really, really, really does not like this Batman stuff, which makes me sad because that's the one that I'm the most nostalgic for. I know a lot of people would say, like, you know, Bale and Nolan's take on it is like the iconic one, and I wouldn't disagree that for some people it is the iconic one, and I think those movies are good. But for me, like, when I was younger, this was one of the first superhero franchises that I went out to see and was very excited to see all of them, including the one with the bat nipples. Anyway, speaking of the bat nipples, Tim Burton over here said, go fuck yourself. Tim Burton blasted Warner Brothers after being called too kinky for his $266 million Batman movie, only to give George Clooney bat nipples later. It's a full interview here. I don't like to support Fandom Wire. They're kind of a shitty site, so I hate that I'm even using it. So we're not going to read through it. However, I will say this is more or less like Warner Brothers, obviously, with the whole fiasco with that second film with the penguin biting off noses and the whole McDonald's thing and stuff. Like, they thought that the movie went too dark. They thought it was too, I guess, kinky and sexual with some of the stuff that happened in it. And then, yes, they put nipples on the bat suit. So, you know, I don't think there's any real defense on that one, Warner Brothers. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up there. I just want to talk about this for a moment because I think it's kind of interesting that people just want to keep canceling James Gunn for stuff he said a really long time ago. Keep in mind, the people that want to cancel James Gunn, I find there's like a crossover, like if we did one of those like diagrams where, you know, it shows the crossover, the overlap. There's probably a lot of people that were mad when James Gunn was fired from Guardians of the Galaxy for old tweets that he made. And some of those people probably overlap with the ones now that are trying to get him canceled for some of these statements he made about the Batman movie. But look, instead of doing that, you need to redirect that energy. And let me explain how you do that. When the Batman Brave and the Bold comes out, and if it's great, that'll mean that, hey, maybe James Gunn understands and he put the right people in charge of Batman. He had the right oversight on Batman. But if it comes out and it's absolutely shit, you can go back to these posts, these tweets, these Facebook posts, whatever, and go, this is why. Then you can do a gotcha. But until then, he hasn't tackled Batman yet, not under his watch. So give him a chance. Let him cook. Let him cook, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, what do you guys think about all this? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hit the join button to become part of Team Airrick and leave a like on this video. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm out. Have a great day. See everyone later.